Alternative Dig Talk. Real issues, real talk.
You have got to get up pretty early to go do something. We are the Alternative Dig Talk. With our mobile studios, we are redefining TV presentation just as technology is setting the pace. We are blending our approach with fresh, perspectively designed breakfast show, The Mighty Drive, informative and entertainment show, exclusive and live interviews.
President Museveni wadde juzi namulaba apima akawunga kilo 2 tasobola kalya nini bwaba alya kilo 5 oyannema okuliisa eggwanga ne bwe limundekera.
Njagala kwebaza the Alternative Dig Talk etuwadde kano ka Mighty Drive era n'abatuwuliriza bonna abali ku mikutu njagala basaba mugendo maaso n'okuwuliriza.
All given to you just a click away on your phone, tablet, laptop and smart TVs as we are streaming live on our social media platforms, on the road and on the go. We are the Alternative Dig Talk.
Hey Ugandans, I'm Lieutenant Colonel Dewa Kiki, the Deputy Defense Spokesperson and actually the Deputy Spokesperson for the Uganda People's Defense Forces. I was hosted on Alternative Dig Talk. I encourage all Ugandans that this is the way to go. Always watch, participate, give your views and ask questions on Alternative Dig Talk. Dig Talk, the way to go.
Are you guys ready? Okay, let's serve Uganda. As promised, we deliver. We are redefining the social media narrative, asking tough questions and holding your leaders accountable. We are non-partisan and break down having a conversation with Uganda.
We are the Mighty Drive. We hold debates that give you viable solutions. We bring to you people that you've always wanted to listen to. We are gender sensitive and give space to the unheard voices. Not forgetting the quote of the day.
We are live on our social media platforms, The Alternative Uganda on Facebook, YouTube and Twitter from Monday to Friday, 7 to 9 a.m. Don't miss the debate behind the wheels and studios.
I am Edgar Matthew Karuhanga
and Princess Luwe Delidian.
Expect in-depth analysis, credible, factual and authentic information. We are the Alternative Dig Talk.
Real issues, real talk.
The Alternative Dig Talk. Real issues, real talk.
A very good evening, our viewers. We welcome you to the Hotline Show. Today it is 1st November 2021. That means we are left with only 60 days to come to the end of the year. It is the Hotline Show every Monday, 7 to 9 p.m. with me, Abdalla Tiff. The number of things that we have to discuss this evening, of course, for those who have been following the political scenes, the political trends, and a lot of things have been happening. And we think a lot should be given that in-depth discussion to see how far we can go in making Uganda a better country for everyone. For over 35 years, we have had the opposition trying to see how they can oust the regime. However, this has proved to be a difficult task for the opposition. Yet, many Ugandans have been given the impression that the task to uproot the regime, it is something very, very simple. But for 35 years, opposition groups, they have tried to do this, which has failed. In the studios, I have colleagues who have joined me and will be discussing and sharing their ideas on how best we can see that maybe there is change in leadership, right from the top leadership, from the top position of this country. In the studios, I am privileged to have Mr. Otebe Robert Prince. He is an NRM mobilizer from March India Division. We are with him here on the show. And then I also have Bwana Mufumbiro Alex Waisswa. He is the deputy spokesperson for the National Unity Platform. And then at the same time, I also have Honorable Michael Mabike. He is the interim Secretary General for the People's Front for Transition. Well, our discussion is basically going to rotate on how can a disunited opposition dislodge the sitting regime. For 35 years, like we said, these attempts have been put in place, but nothing has proved to be working. Now, we need to know what is happening and what new strategies are they coming with to see that maybe the NRM ruling may not proceed and may not go beyond the 35 years. I want to give my guests an opportunity to introduce themselves to the viewers and also say hi before we proceed, on our topic of discussion. I want to start with gentleman Mufumbiro, please say hi to our viewers.
The viewers of
the hotline
show, we are not so much used to these TikTok platforms. I don't know the name of the platform, but I know it is
Alternative TikTok.
Yes, Alternative TikTok. The viewers of Alternative TikTok, I'm very humbled this evening to be with you here. To discuss matters of national importance, matters of concern. And it is humbling that I am here with these panelists to espouse more on things that concern about our motherland, Uganda. I am very, very grateful to this, and I bring you greetings from the headquarters of the National Unity Platform and from the National Unity Platform leader, His Excellency, Honorable Robert Prince.
Thank you so much, Bwana Alex Mufumbiro Waisswa, for making time to join us this evening. Bwana Otebe, you can also say hi to our viewers.
Yeah, thank you very much. Our host, Abdalla, Otebe Robert Prince, NRM mobilizer much in India. I'm also privileged to be here. I think this is our first show, if I'm not mistaken. And I'm also glad to have these two gentlemen, especially the man on my right,
extreme,
who has just done himself in a good soup on that side of NUP, and Honorable Michael Mabike, my former MP, because I used to be a resident there by then.
He's also in soup. He's the Secretary General of the PFT.
Okay, so I'm glad. So I wish you a good show.
Thank you so much, Bwana Otebe, and we thank you for always trusting us to make time and join us. Honorable Mike Mabike, please say hi to your viewers.
Abdalla, thank you. I'm glad to be here. I'm glad to be here with Mr. Mufumbiro. I'm glad to be here with Mr. Otebe. This alternative dig talk.
Dig talk, yep.
Dig talk is quite an innovation. We're very pleased to be here.
Thank you.
I am not in soup. We are in a struggle. We're still in a struggle. There is no soup in the struggle. The soup is always in government. But we keep on. I bring you greetings from the PFT, Red Card Front. Tomorrow, we are going to be launching what we call the transition agenda. What we call the transition agenda. It's a program. Huge program. You have been asking.
I think, Honorable, that's where we're actually going to start.
Therefore, I would like to use this opportunity to invite, actually we invited everybody. We even invited NUP, we invited the President, we invited the President of DP, we invited even the progressive NRMs. Because what?
How do you know that is progressive?
No, the progressive NRMs, I'm not so sure whether it's progressive. But whatever we are engaged in is a program for Ugandans, regardless of their political affiliation. So we want to invite them tomorrow to come and share. And also grace the occasion where we should be launching what we have termed as the National Transitional Agenda.
Thank you so much. That is from Honorable Michael Mabike. He is the Secretary General from the People's Front for Transition, and he says he's not in SOPs. Maybe it's perhaps Mr. Otebe who is in SOPs. I think I want to start from Mr. Mabike's, Honorable Mabike's point. Tomorrow you're launching the agenda for the front. Well, for a couple of times we've had such arrangements. The only difference is that this time around, you are launching this before, just shortly after the elections, unlike the previous times where such arrangements have been coming towards the elections. Now, like we started, for 35 years now, what new ideas do you really bring on table that will make Uganda and Ugandans achieve that desired change they all want to see?
We have always debated this matter. Why the front? Why this? Why that? And for me, by that, I'm very pleased to see that we are making real headway. We have made headway. Some people say we have been at it for quite some time, but yes, every time you're at it, you make headway. There has always been a major tendency, despite the many forces in opposition, there has always been a major tendency in the opposition. Even if it was a war, there was always a major tendency in a war. I can give an example. When Museveni was in the bush, there were many fighting groups. There was FUNA, there was FEDEMO, there was UFM, but the NRM and NRA was the major tendency.
Much as it was the underdogs actually of the time.
Yeah, but it was a major tendency in the bush, and that was a major focus of the regime. If you look at the electoral cycle under Museveni, we had 1996 where we had the IPFC. The IPFC was a major tendency, but there were the Chibirige Mayanjas and others. When you come to 2001, there were many other tendencies, but the RA, Reform Agenda, was the major tendency. That's why the fact there were the Bwenjes, there were many others, the Bwanikas and others. When you get to 2006, actually 2011, the major tendency was IPC. Despite the fact there were many other opposition forces. Then we can look at, we also look at TDA in 2016, and of late 2021, the major tendency was people power. So there is no harm in having as many varied players as possible. There is no harm in that, as long as they are all shooting in the same direction. Now, your question is far-fetched. One, Uganda has never had a peaceful transition of power since independence.
Yeah, that's true.
Everybody who has captured power in Uganda has done so through the gun.
And bloodshed.
And spilling blood. There has never been a president in Uganda who has ever become so through a credible, free and fair election. Now, Mr. Museveni in 86 captured power, and since then, he has done one thing. He has installed what we call a quasi-military regime. What we have in Uganda is not a true democratic dispensation. What we have is a clear military outfit. Actually, to be specific, it's a junta. Call it a junta. Some people call it a junta, but it's a junta. It's a military junta. Now, in 1980, what sparked off the war in 1980 was a bad election. And Museveni says there was rigging. Museveni says the army interfered. Museveni said there was harassment. He says there was violence. He says the electoral commission was partisan. 36 years down the road, we are still seeing the same circumstances and situation that took Mr. Museveni in the bush. He has not been able to perform any better. So, the opposition has participated in all these processes, but these processes have turned out not to be credible, not to be free and fair. Even the Supreme Court of Uganda has actually confirmed, for all the three times petitions have been taken, the Supreme Court has confirmed that the process of elections in Uganda is not free and fair, neither is it credible. So you cannot say the opposition has failed.
Honorable, just before you proceed.
Let me finish this point. Two security gurus. One is called General Sejusa. He said that in 1996, Mr. Somogere won Yoweri Kaguta Museveni. He also said that in 2001 and 2006, Besigye won that election. But that there was a center somewhere at Basima which was interfering with the results. Recently, Mr. Tumukunde said, Mr. Tumukunde, who has been a security guru, that in 2016, Mr. Besigye won an election. And we are receiving reports that in 2021, Kyagulanyi won that election. So, the truth is not in failure of the opposition. The issue is in the militarization of the politics, in the failure to conduct electoral reforms, and in the failure, in the failure to conduct free, fair, and credible elections. Otherwise, in a free and fair circumstance, Mr. Museveni is beatable.
Honorable, the point here is from 1996 we've had elections.
Yes.
And now, since when shall we cease to hear such narratives? They are because we won, we would have been in power, but because of this, we would have been in power. You know, it's like these are excuses coming. And now Ugandans want to see the real change. What is happening? You talked over the major tendencies that happened. From all the groups that you mentioned, the only major tendency that yielded results was the NRA. Because when they went to the bush, indeed they won. They achieved their goals. But now all these tendencies you've been talking about, the TDA, the IPC, and all that, nothing has happened.
Yes.
And does this build confidence and trust from the masses towards these arrangements you come with?
No, but we should distinguish how do you capture power, how do you take power? The NRA won, shot its way in power and won. But here we're talking about elections. If it's about picking guns, then it can be a different story.
Let's first hear from Bwana Alex Waisswa. In 2021, you promised Ugandans heaven on earth. Mubitukwas. You see, this time, you know, I remember that statement that you cannot lose an election 4 times, and then you said there is no democracy in the country. And now, you said Mubitukwas, Mubikwase Kyagulanyi, and indeed Babi Bakwasa. What happened?
First of all, to be here and we assume that there is a different Uganda from the one you are living, I think it is to lie to ourselves. As adults and now people who are in it, we have now a responsibility. It is now in fact a social responsibility to remove the dictator. Yep. It is no longer my personal responsibility, it is no longer Mabike's responsibility, it is our entire responsibility. Because the country has gone to the dogs. The reason we are discussing politics now, or leadership, or change of whatever we are discussing, is because there is a problem.
Something is not right.
That is why we are here discussing how to cure the problem.
Yep.
So it will be wrong for anybody to assume that removing the dictator is a singular responsibility of an individual putting themselves out as if they have health insurance, as if they have great infrastructure, as if they have surety on employment, as if they have, because the challenges we have as a country. Today I have been seeing a post by Dr. Besigye, I think it was a tweet, that school fees at Kisubi is going to be 2.8 million shillings.
2.8, yes. 2.85.
Now, if you have a child, can you put a mirror and see yourself when your child is in senior 1, whether you will have capacity to have that child go to Chisubi? Now, these are the questions that we are answering with giving ourselves the responsibility of going against Genome 7. And now our duty, like people power, like a teacher I am, and now the deputy spokesperson of the party, I even need to take the honors to teach people power. Because people must understand that it simply means returning the decision making to your hands. It is no longer in your hands. You don't determine anything. We are I call it for me a dictatorship, a military dictatorship. Now a military dictatorship, and now for us we have a challenge, it is a cabal, a collection of a few individuals. You have a one Salim Saleh in charge of making Ugandans rich from government. You have the first daughter in charge of now $4 million of tourism. You have the first daughter taking 6 billion for oxygen. Now, if you have such governance issues where the constitution has been toppled, you know what happened when they removed the age limit. The mafias, the state, the historical background of the national resistance movement was manifested when they attacked parliament. It was unprecedented because even Amin did not do that to members of parliament. Honorable Betty Namboze, people yearn to go to parliament. Honorable Betty Namboze is now in a wheelchair because of being a member of parliament. Had she not gone to the house, today she would be walking straight. Honorable Zake got all the injuries and the psychological trauma that he went through because he was a member of parliament. Now, we have a judiciary that is not functioning. Honorable Alan Sewanyana and Honorable Sejirinya are in jail because the dictator, in his own wake-up thinking, he believes that he should influence the jurisdiction and judgment of the judges. And oh hell no, he has scared them off. The very court, please give me some time, the very court that gave bail to the 2 MPs with the security of 20 million, this time round did not do the same when the same circumstances, the very particular circumstances, rose again. Now that is double standards. That is not justice. Now you have a collapse of the 3 arms of government. The executive, it is monopolistic. Nobody in the NRM is aware of how the COVID responses are being done. It is simply a responsibility of Genome 7 and his few family members. Our children and your children, if you do have them, and his children, the one of NRM, because it does not look like one who was having those ones international schools of $10,000. They are not at school for 2 years. The whole world, we are the only country where children are not at school.
And they are safe.
You get my point. Now you wonder when somebody says they are safe, as if other countries don't have children and they are dying. Now that one, we shall discuss it at the segment you say.
Yeah.
Now, if you are faced with such challenges, it is so pedestrian to believe that we can jubilate at any one time when we still have the problem with us. For me, I believe that we have a problem as a country that we are going to fix. That does not take away the responsibility of leadership and the mandate that we got in 2021. My brother, we won the 2021 general elections. Now, you are glorifying a thief of an election, a person who vulgarized a process. First of all, it was a sham
glorifying
process. By the mere fact that you are saying you want us to explain for a person who came and took away what was not his, it means you're glorifying him, and that is not right. You're supposed to take time to tell the thief to take back the property that he stole. Because Genome 7 stole the victory, not my victory, not Chagulanyi's victory. Chagulanyi never asked us, by the way, to stand for president. It is people power, Ugandans. And the Ugandans manifested that in January 14, on January 14th. And now that we have the mandate, let me tell you, we did not have the mandate. We now have the mandate of Ugandans to remove the dictator. And we are not running away from that responsibility. The reason I am the deputy spokesperson, it is to give more effort to the communication department in removing the dictator. I'm not here to officiate the wedding ceremonies. I am here to officiate removing the dictator. Now, we have a timetable as leaders that is not public. And we are not about to come and expose our entire agenda of removing. You know that putting on, I would be on this show putting on a red beret. You know that. I would be on this show putting on Chagulanyi Center. You know that there are laws that refuse us even to put on color red. It is a crime. So we know how we are handling the dictator. And let me tell you, my brother, the dictator feels us day and night. When he is giving us his speeches, you listen to him. He is speaking to a particular group of people who have refused to dine and wine with him.
Well, thank you so much, Bwana Mufumbiro. I think let's keep that at that for now. I think for this time, at this time, I will be going to Mr. Otebe. Mr. Otebe seems to be seated in a very, very comfortable zone. If not, he's on the steering wheel.
How can the thief be
it's like,
you man.
No, for him, he's okay with the status quo and how things are moving. I think he's comfortable because he already has something in the, you know, if you see someone very quiet, then it means there is something in the mouth. So for them, they're very comfortable. Mr. Otebe, you've heard from the two gentlemen. One is the deputy spokesperson of the NUP, the leading opposition party, and then one is the Secretary General, acting Secretary General for the newly created front to uproot your regime. I know, as someone who subscribes to the ruling regime, you think everything is right. What do you make of their statements that things are not moving well? And on your side, I'm very sure you have different lenses and you look at things in a different way. What is your take on this?
Thank you very much, our host. You see, as the NRM is enjoying the 10 points program that brought it to power, and they have kept it up to date. In the other angle, the opposition is losing in 10 points also.
Whose 10 points?
Those 10 points are there.
Whose?
Their own.
Their own 10 points?
Yes. Okay. When you look at the opposition, they have come up with different cliques which are personal, but aiming at rooting out the NRM government, which is powerful. And the other problem is one from this opposition. They underrate the NRM government by looking at one person, that's Genome 7. Forgetting that even if Genome 7 goes away today, the NRM is here to stay.
Really?
It's here to stay. That's why it has taken them 35 years without even shaking the NRM at any post opposition of this country. Apart from putting there short-time pressure groups, especially towards the end of 5 years. Take an example. Today we have what you call, is it called P? Something?
PFT.
PFT. For which purpose, really? They are fighting themselves, not the NRM.
One.
Okay? FDC is fighting the incumbent opposition. Let me say that.
Okay.
Is fighting the incumbent opposition. Instead of laying strategies to fight the NRM.
Do you know about the PFT?
Government.
Is that what the PFT
Definitely.
agreement and framework says?
Because
is the PFT about FDC?
Yeah, it's FDC because when we look at the hierarchy, the leadership hierarchy, who is the leader?
I think just get back to your submission. We'll get back to that.
Yes.
Honorable Mabike is here. Will guide us on what PFT stands for.
And to make matters worse, whatever political group these people formulate in this country, they bring it at the center. That's Kampala, forgetting other areas of this country. And if you carry out research, 80% of NRM fraternities or voters are in rural areas. 20% are in the Kampala. So it's a very small, in Kampala, it's just a small cake to be shared by very many people.
So don't you think there have been attempts for them to reach out to
They
such
have
areas?
never.
Because we've seen them being blocked whenever they try to access such places.
They are blocked from urban centers. Tell me an example of a rural area where this have been blocked from going. If I can remember, it was only Mbabazi who was blocked from accessing a certain rural area.
I remember during the elections, there were, if you remember, was it in Luuka, where we had that bloodshed that side?
Yes, Luuka is a district. Bobby Wine was arrested in an urban area, not a village. That's why he was arrested.
Where
Luuka is a district.
Where is my brother? Where is urban in Luuka?
Luuka is a district, not a village. Per se.
I understand you, and I want to go by that. Where is urban in Luuka district?
Okay, let us assume it's not
because do you mean that there is no village which is rural?
Okay, Alex, it's okay. Brother. It's okay.
Okay, yes,
it's
proceed.
Okay. Let us count Luuka now. It's a rural area.
What about Budondo?
If it was the case.
Okay, what about Budondo?
If maybe Alexander, his entire group had reached.
What about Kalanga?
Maybe let's give him a chance to finalize his point. Yeah, you're protected, sir.
If Alexander, the entire group had maybe organized themselves earlier to move around the whole Uganda, including the rural areas, maybe we would say that maybe they were just unlucky. But they failed even to try.
So you meant to say
that's why I'm saying that for them, they wait when the roadmap's out and they start fidgeting around, forming cliques. Let us put one candidate. I got the point.
Okay.
I think it is only the late Obote who has enjoyed the fruits of opposition in this country. And these people have failed even to copy from that.
So maybe to cut you short, Mr. Otebe, the way you see things moving,
benefited.
Do you think
is the only opposition
by his son sitting with himself?
No, he was the only.
Obote is happy.
You see,
Obote is happy.
No. Okay, I am the controller here. I am the one in control. Now, Mr. Otebe, you're saying the opposition has not done enough to oust your regime.
Yes.
But do you think your regime is performing to the satisfaction of the Ugandans?
Definitely. When I was starting my statement, I told that as the NRM is enjoying the 10-point program, which are fulfilled at their own apex. That's the 99%. The Ugandans are enjoying.
Could you please, actually, someone posed the question here. It's called, I saw it somewhere. Otebe is called to Musime Kato. Otebe, what are the 10-point programs of the opposition?
The failures, the 10 points that the opposition has failed. I started by saying that these people have intentionally failed to travel in rural areas to convince the Ugandans who are there that the NRM is doing ABCD.
Okay.
These people, the opposition, have failed to know that M7 is not NRM. Let us fight NRM plus M7. But whoever who comes on the platform want to get rid of M7. What about NRM? M7 is under NRM.
Are you on a
countdown for NRM? Yes.
Okay.
I'm going to the point. Okay.
Yeah.
There are issue. These people have failed to mobilize funds, especially during elections. This has made them to lose cases before the courts of law. They don't have agents to be placed at the polling stations.
Mufumbiro is laughing.
I get you know why Mufumbiro is laughing? I can read his memory. They said that NRM puts money in politics. But you see, one time FDC launched certain things. It was raising money for women. What
someone says Museveni is NRM. Stop your jokes.
Museveni is NRM, but I don't know that Museveni is NRM. Okay, they saw that Museveni is a solo person. That's why they're fighting him only. Not knowing that the likes of Otebe are there.
Well, let me ask you, what? Is the NRM threatened by the current opposition that we have in the country?
NRM is living peacefully. And actually we are bored because of the opposition in Uganda.
Let me go to Honorable Michael Mabike. Mr. Otebe says...
before you give the mic Honorable the microphone, I want also to inform my colleague Alex that there is no crime that the first family has committed to this country when you find that the first lady or the first son or the first daughter is engaged in the activities of this country, as long as they are allowed.
Are you happy with the way the Ministry of Education is running affairs?
What's wrong with the Ministry of Education?
Are you happy? Just tell Ugandans, not me, are you happy?
No, Ugandans can...
You say I'm happy that the minister is doing well.
Ugandans can witness that.
Because the world is listening to you.
Ugandans can witness that.
Yes.
Okay?
Are you happy?
COVID pandemic.
Well, let me go to Honorable Michael Mabike. The gentleman from the NRM says that as the opposition, you've totally failed it. One, you failed to mobilize resources. You've also kept yourselves within the urban centers. I don't know whether he meant Kampala or all urban areas across the country. Maybe we'll give you time to clarify on that. And then it's like you try to break down the 10 points why you have failed as the opposition. I don't know. How is that? Have you really tried to concentrate much on the urban areas? Is this why you only have the voters that you want to enable you push this regime away, or what is happening? Why are you not reaching out to the entire country?
Otebe is not serious.
Actually, even your event tomorrow is in
Mr. Otebe, I don't know whether this gentleman is a Ugandan or a Kenyan. I don't know whether this gentleman has just come to Uganda. And I don't know where he has been living. He must have been living in exile or in this Arab world. He must have been he could be a Kadama.
I spent 10 years in your constituency.
You see? Because
but he was a member of parliament.
The man is talking as if he just landed in Uganda. When you say the opposition is not in the rural areas, are you aware that the opposition has got MPs in Chitigum? Are you aware that in Uganda alone, with 90 MPs, NUP has got 54 MPs out of 90? Is Uganda urban?
Definitely, Uganda is
it urban? Are you aware that the opposition has got MPs in Tororo? Are you aware that the opposition has got MPs in Kabera Maido? So, I strongly believe that this gentleman needs to go back to NALI, the National Leadership Institute in Champwanzi, to be reoriented. He's actually not projecting the true image, the right picture of the NRM. He's been talking about the 10-point program. It shouldn't be me to teach him the 10-point program. When Museveni came, let me now teach you about your own 10-point program.
But does he know the 10-point program?
I don't even think that he knows the 10-point program. Actually, no, we gave the opportunity.
No, let him. Mr. Mabike.
Okay.
I am
let him tell us. Let us the 10-point program. Tell us the 10-point program.
When the NRM government came out with 10 points program, it just gave the opposition.
Let's give him an opportunity.
It gave the opposition mandate to fight the NRM government using the very 10-point programs. Okay, that you are demanding me to mention. Then you intentionally lost.
Okay,
could you mention some of the
10-point programs of
first
the NRM?
First and the foremost,
one,
there is security. I get the point.
2,
we restore the democracy.
3,
there is a strong economy.
4,
I get the point.
4,
there is I want to mention them in order.
Is that the order?
Anyway,
you remind me,
Mr. Tebe.
Let's wait.
So
I may not mention all, but I can sum up
now
the ingredients in the 10-point programs I get the point. Actually, I was supposed to tell you the 10 points that you have failed.
No, wanted to know that you know yours.
No.
But already
I know the ingredients. I know the ingredients.
You know ingredients. You don't know the point.
Well, I think
we need because if I can talk of restoring democracy and I talk of the ingredients which are there, which even this one is saying that they are even brought over 50 MPs in the Parliament of Uganda. Then that one is the ingredient of restoring democracy.
Well, I think everything it depends on where someone is sitting and the kind of places one is putting
to go back to my issue.
Yes, Honorable.
We are not here in a secondary school debate. This is a very serious debate, and we need really serious input. One, when you talk about democracy, the NRM, as we talk today, has a frozen political space. There is no single political party which can operate beyond Kampala. The political space for civil society, NGOs, and political parties is completely shrunk under the NRM. Now, that in itself is a negative on point number 1 of the NRM restoration of full democracy. 2, elections, free and fair elections. The NRM has not organized a credible, free and fair election since 1996. He should also know, by the way, this gentleman who is here debating about NRM, he should know that between 1986 and 96, there was no election. Museveni ruled 10 years potea without organizing a single election. And he's talking, we have been here 36 years. 36 years. For what?
Would you take my information?
No, I don't want to take your information.
No, this information is
it's up to me to take it or not. I don't want to take your information. I don't want to take your information. Because you are miserable. Now, Museveni came here saying that he's going to eradicate poverty. He said he would eradicate illiteracy. Look at what he has done to our schools.
Mr. Otebe is comfortable with that.
Look at what Museveni has done to our schools. First of all, he appointed his wife as minister.
What's wrong with that? Is there any of that buzz?
That is one.
The first lady from becoming the Minister for Education.
The entire education sector is down.
I think this people should also go back and read the
Just a second, Mr. Otebe. Before I go back to Mr. Mufumbiro, I'm going to give you 1 minute.
I want to summarize. Let me sum it up because we don't want to go into primary debate, primary school debate. 1. Museveni, 36 years down the road, is not different from Gaddafi. It's not different from Saddam Hussein. It's not different from Mubarak. All these leaders conducted elections. And they actually won these elections by 1999. Bashir, before he was removed, conducted elections. Mubarak, before he was removed, conducted elections.
And Mugabe, it was
Saddam Hussein conducted elections. Robert Mugabe, actually conducted elections.
And in
Uganda, elections are not organized for the people to make a free choice. The elections are organized to legitimize an autocracy and to basically appease donors. And if in any way this gentleman is using elections as a standard for democracy, then I think he needs to go back to Nali for reorientation.
Well, thank you so much. I think for now, let's keep it at that. We're going for a very, very short commercial break, and then we'll be returning in the second hour, and then we proceed with the discussion. However, there are so many comments on our social media platforms here. We'll be maybe reading out a few of them when we return on the next in the next hour of the show.
Alternative Dig Talk. Real issues, real talk.
Hey Ugandans, I'm Lieutenant Colonel Dewa Kiki, the Deputy Defense Spokesperson and actually the Deputy Spokesperson for the Uganda People's Defense Forces. I was hosted on Alternative Dig Talk. I encourage all Ugandans that this is the way to go. Always watch, participate, give your views and ask questions on Alternative Dig Talk. Digitalk, the way to go.
Let's have Uganda. As promised, we deliver. We are redefining the social media narrative, asking tough questions and holding your leaders accountable. We are non-partisan and break down having a conversation with Uganda.
We are the Mighty Drive. We hold debates that give you viable solutions. We bring to you people that you've always wanted to listen to. We are gender sensitive and give space to the unheard voices. Not forgetting the quote of the day.
We are live on our social media platforms, The Alternative Uganda on Facebook, YouTube and Twitter from Monday to Friday, 7 to 9 a.m. Don't miss the debate behind the wheels and studios.
I am Edgar Matthew Karuhanga
and Princess Luwe Delidian.
Expect in-depth analysis, credible, factual and authentic information. We are the Alternative Digitalk.
Real issues, real talk. Nze omubejja Luwedde Lilian mbaniriza maka gaffe amajja era nga wano tugenda okuba nga tukolera programu yaffe emanyiddwa nga The Voltage gaba amasannyalaze gennyini era nga twogera ku bintu eby'enjawulo omwo nno mwe muli ebigenda mu maaso mu ggwanga, ensonga z'ebyobufuzi n'obukulembeze bw'eggwanga Uganda, twogera ku nsonga ez'abavubuka, eddembe ly'obuntu awamu n'ebyenkulaakulana. Togisubwa buli lunaku olwokutaano eba ssaawa emu ey'akawungeezi paka ssaawa 3 ez'ekiro.
The Diaspora Link buli lwakuna sawa 11 paka sawa emu ey'olweggulo ye program gye tukuleetedde wano ku Alternative Digital Uganda. Tugenda batutunulira embeera z'Abannayuganda baganda baffe bannyinaffe zibawangaaliramu mu mawanga ag'ebunaayira. Bangi banyigirizibwa, bangi bakosebwa, bangi bayisiddwamu amaaso. Naye tugenda batutunulira engeri gye tusobola okulongosaamu embeera zaabwe. Tugenda kuba tulaba abo abakwatibwako abateekeddwa okuba nga balongoosa embeera zineeno. Tosubwa buli lwakuna n'omuweerezaawo Nixon Segawa.
Hello everyone, my name is Abdalla Tiff and I welcome you to the Hotline Show here at the Alternative Digitalk as we discuss issues of national importance. Join us every Monday 7 to 9 p.m. and see who will be occupying these seats here with us. Keep it Big Talk, real issues, real talk.
The Alternative Digitalk. Real issues, real talk.
Well, welcome back from that short commercial break, and now we have to proceed with our discussion. Before we went for the break, Honorable Mabike was trying to give us more light on the NRM 10 points program and what has failed to work out. And maybe, I don't know, maybe he forgot to say if there is anything of whatever small magnitude that could have worked out. Honorable, please go ahead and give us more light before I get back to Mr. Otebe.
But this brother of ours,
Otebe. Robert Prince.
Otebe. Next time I think we shall go to a different debate altogether. You need to act serious, especially when you come to a show of this kind and with us. And you need to really prove to the country that you are a good cadre. Oh, some people may think you're actually the wrong cadre for this show. The NRM,
so you want to say that NRM must not
as a way of summary, by way of summary, and going by the standard of the 10-point program, if you have to analyze the 10-point program one after the other, it has failed entirely on all of them. And the key point, Yoweri Kaguta Museveni was asked in 1986, what is Africa's problem?
And he said what he's doing.
He summarized it. He said, Africa's problem is nothing else. It's not, actually for Uganda's problem, it's not even the economy.
It's the leaders.
He said, it's the politics. And in politics, it is the leaders who overstay.
One group overtaking the other and being worse than...
The leaders overstay. And he said, this is not a mere change of guards.
Yes.
It's a fundamental change. And at the end of the day, what do we have? We have walked a full
It's a cycle.
Now, it is a pity.
As you summarize, Honorable.
It is a pity that a Ugandan like Otebe can come here and say the NRM is performing very well and the opposition is actually failing. Knowing very well that as we talk today, there are Ugandans who have been maimed. There are Ugandans in prisons, young people in prisons. There are Ugandans who have lost limbs because of politics. There are Ugandans who are in exile because of politics. After 36 years of an NRM regime that had come to liberate, today, talking about his own 10-point program, it entailed eradication of poverty. It entailed eradication of corruption.
Which has totally failed.
What do we have today?
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Honorable. Thank you so much, Honorable. When you talk about the fighting poverty, of course, we have had a number of programs coming up. One, just changing the names. We had the Youth Livelihood Fund. No, we actually started with the Nabagagawale. There was a Ntandikwa Fund. There was a Youth Livelihood Fund. There is a Capital Venture Fund and whatever, all that. I was listening to Nigin and all that. Well, Mr. Otebe, you had something very, very burning. The information that you wanted to give Honorable Mabike. Please,
Honorable Mabike,
you just have a minute to say that.
Honorable Mabike is hitting against that the NRM has failed to organize free and fair elections, and is the very person who enjoyed the NRM fruits of restoring democracy.
For
10 years. He participated in that election, and he was in the Parliament of Uganda as a lawmaker for 10 years. And so if I hear him saying that we are failed in that arena, then it is really this guy's.
That's the information I wanted to give him?
Yes.
Well, thank you so much. Well, this is the Hotline Show every Monday, 7 to 9 p.m. We'll always be here trying to discuss issues. Well, I want to open our lines. If you're watching us wherever you are, you can call us on 0759132310, 0759132310, or 789017145. Now, I have this question. It has always come across, it's a narrative in the public. We are glad that Honorable Mabike, you're here, and you remember you're top official in the PFT. And then we also have Waisswa Ales Mufumbiro. There is this narrative in the public that the coming up of NFP is trying to to overshadow the NUP as a party. I don't know how true this is. It is just a privilege that both of you are here, and many Ugandans and many people watching us right now, this is what they always have in mind. Like, why is NUP not part of this? Why didn't you invite these people just like you invited other people to join the PFT? I don't know whether they were invited or they were invited and then they chose to shun it. I really don't know. What happened? Are you trying to take over the political space being enjoyed by the National Unity Platform? What is happening? We have people on the line, but I think we'll get back to them in the next 5 minutes.
In a struggle, there's no enjoyment of political space.
Okay.
All of us in opposition are looking for the right frame that can be used to remove the NRM. NUP has its frame, and which we think is okay, and we too think of a different frame.
Okay.
Before I come to answer you directly, I will want to give you an example. In 1980, Uganda had a problem of Robert and UPC, just like now we have a problem of Museveni and these NRM people. In 1980, the DP was the bigger force, and Samogere was the bigger opposition figure than Yoweri Kaguta Museveni. according to Semogera and DP, their frame was join Obote in parliament and oppose there.
Within the system.
And the other frame was by himself and said, no, we cannot go to the bush, we cannot go to parliament. We are going to organize armed resistance against Milton Obote. 5 years down the road, the frame that Museveni had crafted was actually superior to that of DP and Semogeri. Now, when you have a crisis like we have, the various political groups do their frames, and it's okay. It's not that
different approaches.
Yeah, the different approaches. That's okay, and there's no problem at all with that. Now, coming directly to the issue, we had 5 months of engagement with all key stakeholders, including NUP.
Okay.
The spokesperson of NUP here can even attest that when they were in South Africa, he himself had a long discussion with Colonel Dr. Kizabesi. Mr. Kyagulanyi had a long discussion. Many, not once, not twice, and the Secretary General Rubongoya with Dr. Besi. Mr. Norbert Mao had a long discussion. They were engaged. We engaged UPC surprisingly.
Right, surprisingly.
Yeah, surprisingly. Because people would think we couldn't engage UPC. But, and Akena was very clear that, gentlemen, my wife is working as a minister in that government. And she's UPC. I've got to go slow. Give me time. We understood him.
And could yes.
We understood his position. So, we engaged each and every stakeholder. By the time we launched, I want to be very clear, there was no single political organization which is in opposition that had no prior knowledge of what we were actually doing. But of course, for various reasons, some opted not to come. But it is very good. The PFT has one sole objective: procuring transition from these military junta to a truly democratic dispensation. It is not to compete with NUP. Because actually, with NUP, we are in the same boat. We are all prisoners.
One would say...
We are all... PFT and NUP, we are all captives.
One would say, why is NUP not taking the central role in this?
But no, he will explain to you. He will give you reasons why. But as far as engagement, that's very clear. They are engaged. They knew what was happening. And they couldn't come for reasons it's going to give at the time of... And we have no problem with it. But one thing that you should also know is that our arrangement is of willing entities. It is of willing political parties, willing civil society organizations, student groups, and the other broad section of Ugandans. No one can be conscripted. You cannot conscript a political organization to join you. You can only persuade it. Maybe Mufumi will tell you why they are not yet persuaded to join the PFT. But as far as we are concerned, the PFT is even actually broader than political parties. What you have been used to is the IPC. You have been used to TDA. You have been used to political parties forming alliances, electoral alliances. Mm-hmm. The PFT has got nothing to do with elections. The PFT is not an electoral alliance. The PFT is a non-electoral alliance. And we are not talking about elections. Those who want to participate in elections, they can proceed. Those who want to be in parliament, they can proceed. The PFT is a non-electoral platform.
Thank you so much.
I want to tell you that for us, we are happy about what we are doing. We are also happy about the position of the NUP. We have no problem with it, as long as NUP is shooting in the same direction. I think is shooting in the same direction, and other opposition forces. I think I should take a few calls before Bwana Alex comes in. Yes, caller, hello. Your name and where you're calling from? Yes, Mr. Tiff, thank you for the show. This is Kato from Barara. Yes, Kato from Barara. Yeah, thank you so much for the wonderful discussion tonight. You're welcome, sir. Two questions. The first one is,
Your network is not... Sorry? Well,
hello?
Yes, please, we can hear you now.
Yes, my first question goes like, when NUP and the people power scheme does not want to join the scheme,
I don't think we got your question. Yes, please. Okay. Thank you so much, Mr. Kato. Your questions have been captured and they will respond. Thank you so much. Koda, hello? Yes, your name and where you're calling from. Good. Well, that is the economist for you. Well, the first caller said, I want to assume I got his question right. He said that NUP, I think he has called back. Hello?
Hello?
Yes, please. Your name and where you're calling from.
I'm calling from Waisswa.
Yes, please.
I'd like to thank you for hosting those gentlemen in the studio.
Thank you, Isma.
And since you have the Honorable Mabike introduced himself as the spokesperson of the PFT, and I know Waisswa as the deputy spokesperson of the National Media Platform.
Yes, please.
So I think what is on ground and what they should take as reality is that we need to looking at these political conventions that are putting up and the political parties and different other structures that will come up. We need to realize one thing, that Ugandans, what they've been yearning for, is unity with the opposition. Because our biggest threat, our biggest problem is Mr. Museveni, who has, the way Mr. Honorable Mabike has said it clear that after killing people, after a very terrible war that left our people lose their lives. But today, when you look at these things, how they are happening and information, you find where the president of them speaking, both on the radio or in the national television, and that this is another political formation, and such concerning the other political formation that this was not this slogan, this did what, and actually even there are still some slogans. I think what we need now is not the new slogan, it's not the information. What we need is focus on the opposition to take one point and to have a single united front of Uganda, not different of each day one feels like they should do something, because we've just been in an election, and it's very clear that Uganda is voting for the national unity platform. So you cannot tell me any such a great perform without the national unity platform, which is the leading opposition. We need to sit down with government.
Thank you so much, Bwana Ismail. Your point has been captured. One, I think Ismail raises something very important here. He says unity is very paramount in the opposition if actually the efforts to oust the regime will be successful. And then he also says that having the front without the leading opposition party, it also raises many questions. Well, before we went for the calls, I wanted Bwana Alex to hear from you. Honorable Mabike says that they engaged you, you were involved, and I've had a number of, I've had this from different platforms, from various on social media and even on other mainstream media, that NUP was not involved in this whole thing. Maybe we are happy that you're here, you could give us the clarity and then clear the air.
We have not said that. First of all, not every lady you take out for a date
is a girlfriend.
Is your girlfriend.
Okay.
And even if you have intentions of marrying her, she has the opportunity to say no.
Oh, yes.
And that must be her right.
Okay.
It is true, I had a meeting with Dr. Besige in South Africa for long hours, and respectfully, because I have a lot of respect for Dr. Besige, by the way. He inspired me never to support Museveni in my life. And we did have a lot of private discussions and business discussions. And I don't think that the country has a problem with diversity. What people are trying to portray is that there is some competition for position number 2.
Within the opposition.
The reason why His Excellency Kyagulanyi did not stand for Member of Parliament was because there was an urge to liberate this country. There are few politicians who have been around who can be in Parliament for 2 years and run away to go and fight a dictator. And whenever you forget that, you forget the person we are running against. Now, there are individuals in the opposition, of course. The policy of General Museveni on Kyagulanyi and NUP is to isolate Kyagulanyi and NUP. And how has he managed to isolate Kyagulanyi and NUP? Kill Kyagulanyi's people who are around him. You know, Yasin Kauma was murdered, Rita Nabokenya was murdered, Dan Cheyune was murdered, this brother of mine was murdered, Dan Cheyune. There is there are a lot of scores of people in Busoga, and they were all murdered by the regime.
There is a...
So we all have the names. We can say the names.
Asman Kauma.
Yasin Kauma.
No, there is of Bujiri.
There is the gentleman of Bujiri, Asman. There is one Mutia who was murdered, Waliendo. There is one who was murdered in Mavira. So it gives you the picture. He was talking about my brother, the election, and I thought that maybe he did not have time to watch either news. He was not in the country.
No, Mr. Waisswa, we want to move to why the NUP is not part of the NFP.
I am coming.
The PFT actually, yes.
This is not a yes and no question. And I'm not a yes and no candidate. Now, our discussions we have had, the fruits they brought were that the NUP was not going to be in this front of the struggle with our brothers of the PFT. I do have personal reasons. I am the deputy spokesperson of the party, but I also have personal reasons why I would think that we should wait to go into that project. I have had, yes, it is not the FDC affair, but I have had an allegation that Dr. Wesley wanted my president, Kyagulanyi Robert Prince, to apologize, which I discovered was not maybe true. He was misquoted by the media. But there was an issue of Dr. Wesley talking about our camp, the supporters, the public, showing its anger against him in a very undignified way. But against the NUP and Honorable Kyagulanyi, for us it is supporters and the public. But there is an orchestrated plan by the top hierarchy of the FDC to attack the NUP and to attack Honorable Kyagulanyi
using
in particular.
The PFT.
Not using the PFT, I'm saying about FDC. So these are two different things, according to what he has said. And I think I should call out to the leadership of the FDC that we are not fighting with them. Honorable Kyagulanyi never came in this to fight for the second position. We are in a race to remove the dictator. If they want the second position of the FDC, we are not fighting for the second position. As I have heard the FDC president speak. So, if you find people in the PFT behaving that way, and they are at the top hierarchy of the leadership, that is where we said, no, let's first sort ourselves in-house, and then probably we can move forward. But then it is very important to tell you, my brother, that we have the People Power Movement. Now, the People Power Movement is enshrined on the norm that the power belongs to the people as it is espoused in Article 1 of the Constitution. Now, that power, it is not Kyagulanyi's power. It is people power, our power. It means that it is the power of the people, majority of the Ugandans, to determine what they want to do with governance, what they would want to do with the economy. You are taking back the decision making back to the people from the hands of the solitary dictatorship of General Yoweri Kaguta Museveni.
Mr. Mufumbiro, let me take a few calls.
Now,
and then
just a minute, you've not given me adequate time on this show. And I want to clearly tell you more about that. Now, those were my personal thoughts. And then also, at least at the level of leadership, we know the different players in the different teams. And we know the capacity that we can have when we are playing with them on the team or when we are supporting them as they play on the team. And we chose that we shall support them as they play on the team, but we
cheer them up.
Yes, we shall not involve our players in that game. Now, those are the different arteries that are contributing, in my view, to the people power river. And they must be supported. That is why we support every effort. Because people power is not a vacuum. It is a reality that Ugandans now determine who wants to be in charge of their affairs.
Actually, as you wind up, I want you to respond to Kato's submission, Kato from Mbara. He said that NUP not joining the PFT, it's like you accelerating the oppressors stay in power.
We towards the election, and I think that is about 2 years to the election, Honorable Kyagulanyi met with Dr. Besigye for over 18 times. 18 times. And the entire team. The last meeting of Honorable Kyagulanyi, and I can also tell the country that there were people in the party and in one candidate ran for president. And if I tell you what we are willing to give up, you would wonder the type of mechanic political person in Kyagulanyi we have. Because we were willing to let go of so many things such that we can have that cohesiveness. Now, we thought that at the time when we were facing the dictator with a constitutional process, it would be more wise for leaders to arm up. Now, like this leader who has been speaking in Tesu, he got 300,000 votes. Bobby Wine got 3.8 million votes. That should tell him, according to the theft of the NRM,
let's get some callers.
Also tell him how much the people of Uganda were determined to have change.
Well, someone watching us, please call us 07591 32310 0759132310, or if you're using M10, you can also call us on 0789 7445. Well, someone on the line. Hello.
Yes, good evening.
Good evening. How are you? Yes, your name and where you're calling from.
I am Shade from Uganda. I have a quick one as to your entire opposition. I think Honorable Mabike and Mr. Mufumbiro and the entire forces of change, as they call it, so ought also go back on the drawing board and reflect, also shape their own. If you are complaining that Museveni has been in power for this long, you have the right to
Thank you so much, Mr. Tushabe. Well, there are two comments here that I would love to read to you. One said, Mutali Farouk Hussein said, why can't others join NUP? I think this maybe Mr. Honorable Mabike will help us on this. And then someone next on praise said, so NUP believes in a coalition that they are leading themselves. Why can't they join others? Well,
we have not asked anywhere for a coalition.
You are just okay, you're comfortable.
No, I mean, it's wrong. We haven't asked for coalition anywhere. I said we thought that we would be cohesive and have one candidate, and those discussions, we had them. The last meeting of those discussions sat at now a minister, the Minister of IT, Joyce Nabosa Sebugwao. She was the one who chaired the meetings, but now you know the reason why that failed. If you have a Joyce Sebugwao who was already talking to Museveni, discussing to have one candidate, it means that meeting had certain involved.
Mr. Mufumbiro, in just 1 minute, Tushabe says that you're complaining of Mr. Museveni overstaying in power, but there are those opposition figures who have been there for ages. He gives an example of Honorable Cecily Ogwala.
Those leaders don't run budgets, they do not have the military, they do not steal elections.
They approve the
okay,
so they should
listen very well. You know,
you just have a minute.
Whereas I would want to agree with him that even on these other levels, people should not have an overstay to give an opportunity of fresh ideas. But at least they do not have the problem with General Museveni that the presidency has a lot of powers. You know that the president has immunity; he can't be sued. You get my point. But an MP can be sued. The reason why we want to attack the institution of the presidency and bring it with sobriety to the levels of all well-thinking Ugandans is simply because that institution has a lot of powers, and with the leadership being a dictator, my brother, it is very difficult. Okay. Very, very difficult.
Well, I think I need to go to Mr. Otebe just briefly before we move to another topic. And maybe I will also open up another round for the lines too. Well, I need your comment on this whole discussion, and you've had the callers, the comments coming through, and what is your whole take on this?
No, yes, what Ugandans should know, and what these two gentlemen should assure Ugandans, or they should testify that NUP and the PFT, they are not bedfellows, as per now.
They are loggerheads.
Exactly. That's why if these people had maybe invited us, they are saying they invited the NUP to come, and actually you don't see NUP anywhere.
But he said they've been part of the discussion.
No.
The discussions.
Before.
We have not been part of the discussion.
We
were approached. We were made aware.
That's what I'm talking about. That's what I meant.
No, when you say we have been part of the discussion, it means we have been in the cooking.
Okay.
We are only aware of the service.
Thanks for the information.
We were told that there is food being cooked.
Therefore, on their side, I may support NUP somehow, because when you look at NUP and his leaders, they are now maybe is a bridegroom. I can say like that.
They're in honeymoon.
They're in honeymoon, so you don't expect them to have this this side of Mabike. I get the point. However, to sum it all, this all shows that the opposition is still weak, it's still struggling. And that one is making NRM being bored, as if we don't have our co-wives in this country.
Mr. Chairman,
just a quick one before. I think
I need to react. Let me say something.
Yes, Honorable.
Because I had not really reacted from the callers.
Yes.
Number
just
one.
take that opportunity, please.
Number one. The new PFT debate is diversionary. And we know who is behind the diversion. It is, of course, NRM.
Okay.
That is number one. Personally, I have issues with NUP myself.
Yeah.
I am a founder of People Power, and to a large extent the founder of NUP. I am
not SDP.
I am still a prisoner. I am on prison charges in Gulu arising from Arua. I have my issues, but I cannot export those issues with the NUP into PFT.
Okay.
Therefore, I would also like to advise that whatever problems may exist between NUP and FDC should in no way interfere and be exported onto our platform.
And to the agenda.
Actually, for us, we have got more grievances against NUP than anybody else. But we have not at all said this thing, and we have not exported that on the platform, on the people's front.
Yeah.
So that should not. Then thirdly, I want to advise my dear brother, President of FDC. I think whatever negative things he's saying about NUP does not help build cohesion. It actually
breaks the spirit.
Breaks the spirit. So we will advise along the way. We'll keep advising our colleagues, because there is something bigger than all these political parties that we are building. Actually, what we are building is bigger than NUP. It is bigger than FDC. It's bigger than all our small outfits.
Honorable,
what we are building is for the people of Uganda.
One biggest
and
problem.
This is what the people of Uganda have been yearning for. Now, may I also say that not all is lost. Though my brother Mufumbiro is saying that they were not engaged, but of course, me, I have evidence here. I have evidence that they were part of the discussions. Actually, very detailed discussion. Lubongoya, Bobby Wine, and the rest had very detailed discussions. And I even have evidence here on my phone of mails exchanged between Mr. Ekyagala and Dr. Besige. They indicate that
you were co-opting.
We have been engaged. Yes, I'm the Secretary General of the front. Okay. I am the Secretary General of the front. So, but I don't want to get into that because it does not help. Yeah. But for me, I respect NUP's right to participate
or not.
It is their right. They cannot be conscripted. Just like I can no longer be conscripted to belong to NUP. I can never be conscripted to belong to NUP. So while I respect their rights,
you are actually no longer a member of NUP.
I'm not actually.
Let's be clear, he is no longer a member of NUP.
So let us not have the. For me, I want to debate. I want really a debate higher. I wouldn't like to debate the diversion, because as you see, he's very happy. Otebe is very happy. These people are weak. Actually, it's not a sign of weakness. It's not a sign of weakness. It's a sign that your captives, the people who have been captured for 35 years, are now fighting to break the chains around them. And I am sure that it's not all lost. Discussions are continuing. At one point in future, we are going to find a convergence.
Thank you so much. I need to have a few callers before we move to the next topic of discussion. Well, if you're watching us wherever you are, please, you can reach us on 07591 32310 or 0789017145. Before calls come through, Honorable, I want to start with you. Mr. Museveni, a few days when he was making his speech, he said that in January, whether people are vaccinated or not, the whole country will be opened up. And now, one would ask, schools have been closed for 2 years. Is there, besides the campaign to have everyone vaccinated, have there been put measures to ensure that these schools are really safe? You know, for 2 years, the children have not been in schools. I think today, this Monday, when the higher institutions of learning have resumed. I think that's how it is. Now, do you think by January, as Mr. Museveni says, the president, as he says, that the whole country will be open, do you think, is that the best decision? Is it a rushed decision, or it is a delayed decision?
But you also know that Mr. Museveni now runs the country like a personal estate. Actually, it is these decisions now. I want to find the rationale and the scientific evidence behind that statement. Or what does President Museveni base on to determine so? That's number one. Two, whatever we have gone through is a clear demonstration of failure, complete failure. India has vaccinated 850 million people.
850 million people.
China, as I talk now, a country of 1.4 billion has vaccinated 75% of that. How many are those? 900 and something million people. Uganda, a population of
45.
We have not been able to vaccinate 7. Not even 7 million people have been vaccinated in Uganda. Complete sign of breakdown. Complete breakdown of our healthcare system, delivery system. Complete breakdown over Mr. Museveni's cronies, because you know he just simply appoints some of these fellows who are not even competent. Now, even before Mr. Museveni talks about reopening, we must have a full audit of how this COVID has been managed. The first thing, even before we talk about opening, is audit. Because if you persist with the mistakes that we have experienced, even when you open the economy fully, you could be having a big problem. Let me go to the education sector. Schools have been closed for 2 years. COVID pandemic has largely affected private schools. In some of these schools, the whole infrastructure is run down. The people who are calling teachers are now making chapatis. They are making the commandos. They are engaged now in bricklaying. No teachers. How are you going to reopen schools without reorienting those teachers? How are you going to reopen schools without a stimulus package, without support to private
schools,
education institutions? The kids have lost knowledge for 2 years. What are they going back to?
Thank you, Honorable.
So, I want to wind up by saying that...
We actually have less than 10 minutes.
I want to wind up this debate by saying that actually, at the end of the day, it is very sad that the COVID pandemic has exposed one thing, that Uganda is now a segregated country, a country of class, where you have the top 1%, the middle 9%, and the majority 90%. With the under COVID, with the 1%, their children have been studying for 2 years because they attend international schools. The middle class, 9%, their schools have been attending class because they've been on Zoom. With the 90%, those kids have been engaged in manda, matatu, and they are the cases of pregnancies. Now you're actually realizing that's a very big danger, where you have a 90% of the population alienated. And I think that we need to think. We need to reset the socio-economic infrastructure for our country.
Thank you so much, Honorable Mabike. Mr. Otebe, the President says by January, come what, the whole country must be opened.
Yes.
And of course, there are promises that have been made by the lady you love so much, you support so much, the First Lady, who is the Minister for Education. Remember, at one point, they promised that every village, they will receive radio sets. Then they promised TV sets, something like that, to conduct such, to conduct online classes and all that. And this has not lived to see, its implementation. What do you think of this? Do you think the president's statements are right? Are they timely in such a period?
The president
is always right.
Cannot just wake up in the morning and issue a directive as far as the national issues are concerned. First of all, in Uganda, I want to inform my colleague, Honorable Mabike.
I like the way Honorable Mr. Mufumbiro looks at you.
Because he's just a praise singer. He's not raising any serious issues, he's just praise singing.
It's okay, I'm not come here to wish out points and whatever.
Praise.
And I'm not here to talk what will make you happy, maybe. So I'm here to...
You are here to fulfill the duty of NRM.
If you're protected, sir, please proceed.
Just as you're also here to fulfill the NUP agenda, whether it's right or wrong.
Please proceed, go ahead.
The president cannot just wake up in the morning, as these people think, and issue such a directive that's fundamental to the economy of Uganda without making serious consultation. We have a national task force that's headed by the Prime Minister of Uganda, and it has different healthy workers who come up with what you call concrete and sure measures given to the president to announce what can be followed.
Okay.
Okay. So it is still early for the Minister of Education to organize the opening up of what? Of all the what? The learning institutions. Just as the president came a few months ago and said that in November 1st, let the higher institution of learning what? Be opened. Yes. After all the beneficiaries being immunized, either once or twice.
But this time around, he said whether they're immunized, vaccinated or not,
yes,
they will open.
Depending on the scale, on the way the COVID is now scaling down, that one is okay. What's wrong with that?
But that sounds like a desperate statement.
What is wrong with primary kids going to school if the ones of university are going?
Mr. Mufumbiro, when you were off air, you were telling me that the kids are not affected much with what COVID. But remember, there are carriers who will affect these teachers because these kids are not taught by their fellow kids. They are taught by teachers.
So you vaccinate.
And then remember, yes, vaccination. We all know that we had vaccine shortage all over the globe, especially in Africa. The manufacturers are Europeans who first opted for their own country because we don't manufacture here COVID vaccines. You know it well. We have been struggling to get enough vaccines. Not until this people have already immunized theirs at the percentages this person was telling us, then now they are giving us, or we are purchasing what? Enough vaccine to have our people fully vaccinated. And the two, it is not the presidency's responsibility only, but it's all our responsibility to go there and say, please let us go and immunize for the betterment of our economy.
But when the president says that whether people are vaccinated or not, the whole country will be open.
Yes.
And what does that mean?
Yes, I was saying that
it sounds like a desperate statement.
No, look at it's not desperate. Basing on the scale of COVID-19, the way it's now, the scale is low compared with the previous whatever months or whatever. Yeah. Okay. So it's not a desperate statement.
Well, thank you so much, Mr. Otebe. Bwana Mufumbiro, I want your comment on opening the economy, opening the whole country by January 1st.
Maybe before he comes, please. A teacher making chapati, making bricks as an option for survival, I think it's not satanic. They will go back to school. So I was just informing Mr. Honorable Mabike.
I don't know his profession.
Okay, please, Mr. Mufumbiro. I want you.
Anyway,
it's not part of the economic activity. No, it's a part of bricklaying. It's not part of the economic activity.
We are running out of time, and we really need to get out of this.
I think Alex should go back to P4 and we teach him about economic activities in this country.
If Otega went to
chapati making, bricklaying is among the economic activities that people earn money.
Your dreams of educated
and this is an enemy that came and abruptly, that attacked us unaware.
Well, thank you so much. Mr. Mufumbiro, I want your position on opening up the whole country by January.
First of all, this issue of COVID, I have discussed it on a number of platforms, and I want to educate my brother, first of all, that Rwanda, I will not go very far, Rwanda has vaccinated, now it is in the last phase of vaccinating those who are below 18. In fact, now they are looking for the morale booster jab. Kenya has procured and vaccinated. Here in Uganda, we have, by the way, spent 2 billion, that is about 7 trillion Uganda shillings. We took the whole money of the first quarter of the 2020 budget. Now, he does not maybe understand when I talk about quarter, but I'm talking about over 12 trillion. That whole money was squandered by a cabal of individuals led by the president and a few family members. I have told you, Natasha took 6 billion for
to procure
oxygen. They were never procured. They took money like it was a day for anybody who wants money, government money. We borrowed $50 million with a project of over $200 million in Goa for a hospital. That money was squandered. Economies all over the world, what they have done during COVID is to improve their infrastructure on health.
Which has not happened.
We built a temporary infrastructure led by the most incompetent person, Diana Atwine. She took tents of over 2 billion shillings to Nambole, and they were taken by rain and wind, and they were never even seen where the wind had deposited them.
but even in
my brother,
even in Italy, we
I have listened to you, and you have said you saw.
Of course,
I have said I didn't see. Listen to English.
So
secondly,
how did you know that they were blown out by wind?
Because she said so.
So you did
in
not
the
see.
committee, she did not see because they were not
I think
there.
let's give him a minute to wind up. And
secondly, all of the vaccination medicine we have got has been a donation. Nothing has been procured. Nothing has been procured. Now, if you are, I'm sure, I'm not speaking with naivety. Yeah. What has been procured? All of the vaccines we have got, AstraZeneca, Moderna, Pfizer, have all been donations. The general, the dictator thinks of procuring in future. We are here with such information. I have told you that kids, the young people, are carriers. What they would have done is to vaccinate the service providers, the first responders, the teachers. Because we have not procured, we are not even anywhere in the queue. I've told you Rwanda, finished. Kenya is on a good stand. If you go on the COVID portal, Uganda is the worst. Look at the mess that has been at Entebbe.
Mr. Mufumbiro, you have 30 seconds to wind up.
You look at the mess that has been at Entebbe because of COVID. People flew in the country, they tested at the airport, paid 65. Now when you test, you have already got a PCR test that is allowing you to fly to that country, and it is 72 hours. Now I come when I have paid for that test. I'm supposed to just pass the airport if I have a vaccination card. What happens?
When you reach the airport,
when you reach the airport, you pay another $65.
It is $30.
My brother, it is $60.
No.
I read the official document.
Now, I don't know when you last traveled. I have been traveling. I am telling you, it is $60. Now, after paying the $60, and this is what happened just recently, if you listen to the news, the whites paid the money first, $65, and the results came back, and they had been classified as positive. And they were telling the whites to give them a little bribe. These people hit the foot. They said this is wrong. They forced to get another private clinic supervised by these very people. They did the same tests. Another $65 were paid. You know what happened? The results came out negative. Now, if you have a Ugandan seated on this platform telling you that Uganda has handled the COVID well, he is either living in a docile, domicile, and uncoordinated life, or he is simply thinking of having buttered bread that he has not worked for, and he can speak anything.
Actually, he's a disgrace. I should give him a red card.
There is nothing important you'll get from that phone call than what I'm telling you.
We just need to...
Let me conclude with this about COVID, because COVID is very important and core to some of us. I have traveled. He told you I was in South Africa. I was in Nairobi. I have read across the world. Do you know what it means, a child, a girl child to get... I am hearing Dictator Museveni talk about babe. The first offense that has happened in COVID is defilement. The second offense is rape. But now that very person, that General Museveni, is the one saying at least they have given birth. These kids have been raped. These kids have been defiled. You cannot glorify birth of defilement. This is COVID, my brother. The economy has crumbled. You go and look at how many people, all our sisters who opened up small shops, who are graduates, by the way. Now this one's talking about chapati for graduates in that kind of pedestrian thinking. All of our sisters started small businesses of 2 million, 3 million. Our young brothers, all these businesses have gone away. And that is because of bad, messed up, old-aged leadership. I don't even want to be here and speak nice about it. COVID has opened that Uganda is messed up and we are not ready on anything. Not health, not responding to disaster, not even thinking ahead. We have no new hospital.
Does that gentleman know that in 20 years we are going to be 100 million people? Look at the infrastructure. Just coming to this station, if you don't set off from Kampala town, the business center, 2 hours up front, you can't be here at 7 on time.
Thank you so much, Mr. Mufumbiro. Thank you so much, Mr. Mufumbiro. We thank you for making time.
You are paid.
Well, please don't. You're overtaking.
If I wanted money, let me tell you, I'm a lawyer by profession. If I wanted money, I don't look like those ones who would fail to make money from my... Listen very well. Listen.
I think...
And you see? Now, listen the way he's speaking.
Well, Mr. Oteba, you have 30 seconds. Please, I need your last word.
So, thank you very much. What I want to tell you, Mr. Mufumbiro, he should not come here to deceive people just because he wants to talk about the current regime.
My brother, those are facts. I've been speaking figures.
For example,
so if you want to talk about 7 trillion,
I left you with your time.
You remove the 7
now,
trillion.
You continue. See you now talking.
I have been speaking figures and I cannot run away from
you talk
figures.
On behalf of NRM now. Continue.
Mr. Oteba, you have 30 seconds.
NRM has nothing.
I think let's give him his 30 seconds.
So Alex,
let him.
Alex, when you come here, be specific. I told you when I was off air, there are certain things that I disagree.
I've given you 30 seconds to say your last word.
So if you come here at the airport, people are paying $30, not 65. You can make your research. If you last went to South Africa last year,
but why in the first place? Let me ask a question.
I think you're honorable.
Why in the first place?
My 30 seconds is
yes, we are actually running out of time. Honorable, I would love to get Mr. Oteba, Mr. Alex and Mr. Oteba, please, I am the one controlling here. Please, let's give Honorable Mabike to also share with us his last word, and then we wind up the show.
Thank you very much, Abdalla, for this show. And I want to thank management for inviting us. One thing people should know is that abroad and all over the world, COVID tests are free. Wondering why anybody, whether foreigner or Ugandan, should pay $30, 150,000 for a COVID test, which is free in America, in South Africa, in Ghana, and everywhere. So it's all a sign of
incompetence,
complete collapse, and total failure. And if there is any Ugandan who's defending that like Otebe, that is a disgrace. You deserve a red card.
Honorable, please, we want you to talk about the event you're having tomorrow as NFP, just in 1 minute.
Yes, I want to use this opportunity to invite the general public. We have invited everybody, including NUP. And there should be no excuse this time round.
I want to say that our attendance is not expected.
You can see we have invited everyone. We have invited the entire opposition. We have invited all stakeholders. We have invited our friends.
Mr. Otebe.
No, because I think he's a Ugandan, and he should listen. So tomorrow the occasion starts at 9. Please be there.
Venue and
the venue is at Jema. Offices in Mengo. The occasion starts at 9. Please be there, and it will be a pleasure if many of you grace the occasion.
Thank you so much. I take the pleasure to thank my guests for making time out of your busy schedules to join us. And I believe next time, Cyril, when you see our phone calls, please, we hope you will respond like just the way you've done it today. We really thank you, Mr. Ales Mufumbiro. It has been a very, very busy day for you, just from our previous engagements. Honorable Mabike, it has been the same thing. And Mr. Oteba, I really thank you for making time to be part of us. And our lovely viewers, we also thank you for those who have made your phone calls. Please, we thank you. My name is abdalla Tiff, and I wish you a good night.
The Alternative Dig Talk. Real issues, real talk.